Welcome to GlowJob, the beauty podcast that's more than skin deep. We call it a job because real beauty takes work.
Welcome to episode 1. We are so excited. So, Sasa, why are we doing this?
Okay, so Julia, we all know that women spend so much money and time on beauty and skincare. And the problem is there's just so much information out there and it's really hard to cut through what's real and what's not.
Absolutely. I feel like for so many people starting off on their journeys, they don't know where to start. And for people who do know a little bit of this and a little bit of that, I feel like there's just kind of too many things to choose from to really know what is like the right product or the right routine they can start picking up.
Totally. I mean, I feel like skincare in general is really personal. So what works on one person on like TikTok is not always going to work on, you know this.
TikTok.
The worst, but also the best.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what? You're here to set the record straight, right? Skincare it's fun, but it's also, really practical.
And even just beyond like what we do with our skin and the products that we use, I also just love the industry as a whole. For me, it's just so exciting. The influencers, the celebrities, the founders, that to me is like my NBA dream team. Like when I ask that question, explain this feeling to a man, that is how I would explain it. For like my excitement for all this stuff going on, it's like pop culture. Love it.
100%. Okay, so let's dive in. Julia, tell me like a little bit about you.
Okay, Sasa. So my name is Julia. I'm from LA, and I actually recently moved back to the city after living in San Francisco and New York for almost a decade. But I actually work in the skincare industry, and I'm super new to it, but I love it. I'm obsessed. I've actually spent the last decade working in tech, kind of doing partnerships and comms and kind of the whole realm over there. But I decided just to take a bet on myself and pivot and finally pursue a career that I was really passionate about, not just the products, but the people, and just, it's been amazing.
That's so awesome. I'm here for jumping into like a dream. Even if it doesn't matter when you start, like I love that you did this basically this year.
I just kind of figured it was not necessarily like a now or never, but I knew I wanted to do it at some point in my life. And there's really never going to be that perfect moment where everything just like all the stars align and
I wish.
It's time to make a career move, right?
Yeah. Totally. Okay.
All right, Sasa, what about you? Tell me all about you.
Okay. So I was actually born in California, Santa Barbara, the little cottage hospital, but I actually grew up on the East Coast. So I grew up upstate New York, then Jersey, went to high school outside of Philly. I'm like an East Coaster through and through. Mm-hmm. And before I moved to LA, I lived about 13 years in downtown Manhattan in Soho, like literally on the same street for 11 of those 13 years. And then I moved to LA a year and a half ago now.
Right.
Yeah, which is crazy. So I feel like you and I kind of like came back to LA around similar times.
Absolutely.
Right?
Like that post-COVID time. I feel like a lot of people were moving back then.
So many. Yeah.
I love it here, don't you?
I do. Well, actually, if I'm being real, okay, let's be real. So, and I'm going to go backwards a little bit too. So I work in finance right now. Before that, I used to work in fashion. So I went to Parsons for fashion design. I was like a fashion girly, doing my thing in New York, thinking like creative industry is where it's at. Then I made a pivot when I went back to business school and I worked at Goldman for a while. And then when it came to like terms of living, truly, Julia, never thought I was ever going to leave New York. Like I thought I was going to live and die and just be in New York. In Soho. Never going above Midtown. But then I moved out here for a new job and also my boyfriend, we love him.
We
love him. He's so sweet. But like I honestly underestimated how hard it was going to be to like adjust to LA. I thought like, I know New York, it's a city. Like LA is a city too. It's gonna be so easy.
It's a city, but it's not.
It's not. It's a giant suburb.
It's so spread out. Even though like Sasa and I, we literally live walking distance from each other. So we are very, very lucky. But when I see my other girlfriends, it takes me an hour.
Oh, I know.
We always joke that like relationships in LA, when you start dating someone, everything is a long distance relationship because it takes an hour plus to drive to the other person.
1,000%.
It's crazy.
Yeah. See, that's the part that got really hard for me at first, like getting adjusted to LA because everything is so spread out. Like I'm not a spontaneous person, but I realize that I actually miss the spontaneity of stuff. Like being able to like leave work and text a girlfriend and be like, hey, you want to grab a drink? Which is so commonplace in New York. You try to do that. Like I work in Beverly Hills. If I texted anyone who worked or lived on the East Side on a Wednesday at 6, you want to grab a drink with me, girl? People would just be like, what the hell are you talking about?
Absolutely not. Hard no.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, but that's just a little bit about me.
Love it.
Yeah. Let's talk about how we met.
I love this story. Okay, so Sasa and I first met at esthetician school. And yes, beauty school all the way. We're both skincare lovers, which is what brought us to the campus. But we'd actually never met each other before, even though we live within walking distance from each other.
Yeah.
But the funny story is that when we went to esthetician school, we go to the kind of school where you have to wear scrubs. So you're just showing up looking.
It's not cute.
It's not cute at all. But our first day, neither of us were actually enrolled in the class and we were both waitlisted. Mm-hmm. So I remember that we were kind of standing there in our scrubs, just hoping and praying that we get called. And the teacher, Mr. Botma, is just like, okay, class, we only have 2 spots. So I'm just going to read off the list. And the first person he announced was Sasa.
Wow.
And immediately I was just so jealous. So like I was getting hot, I was getting sweaty. Because if you don't get into this first class, you have to wait like another 6 months.
Yeah, it's like actually 6 months.
Yeah, you have to wait a really long time. And I'm just like, fuck, I want to start now. I don't want to wait 6 months.
Totally.
So luckily I was the next person called. And since we weren't enrolled, the only open seats are in the back. So we got to sit next to each other.
Yeah. Wait,
yeah.
You know what's also funny though? I remembered you weren't wearing scrubs on the first day. I feel like I saw you stroll in with like your cute little tote and you're like smiling. And I'm like, that girl's not wearing scrubs. Wait, did I have to wear scrubs today?
Okay, in my defense, it's because I wasn't properly enrolled.
No, I get it. I get it.
Like, why am I gonna go to Figs or Amazon or whatever and like buy scrubs if I might not get into the class?
Yeah, I was a psycho and I was like overly like, I need to get everything prepared and like, I'm going to order 3 sets of scrubs. Like, I don't wear all 3. I never wear all 3 of them.
You were really ready. I remember you had a backpack with the case with all the
kit.
Skincare, the kit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Damn kit.
You were ready. But yeah, after that first class, we definitely chatted, exchanged numbers.
Yeah.
And then we went on our first friend date.
It was so cute, our first friend date. Okay, so I remembered we met when we enrolled and then we started like hanging out in class, right? And then at some point we were like, hey, we should totally hang out offline. So we did coffee date at La La Land, the one on Montana.
The one on Montana.
Yeah. And so we decided it was going to be like cute coffee and like, you know, hot girl walk sort of situation. And it was it the spring? Because I was wearing a jacket, I kind of remember.
I actually vividly remember what you were wearing because to me, it was just like, so Julia's from LA, Sasa's from New York. I was wearing like chic sweats, chic sweats, keyword there. But like that with, you know, my cute little sneakers because I thought we were going to do a hot girl walk with coffee. And Sasa shows up in this like fabulous trench coat and heels. And I'm like, oh my God, like what? We still walked a few miles.
We did. Yeah.
Like, yapping and having the best time.
It was so fun. I remember those sneakers because they're really cute. Aren't they like the APL ones that you have?
APL ones, yes.
It's like very like casual chic LA. And then I was like, I'm gonna casually walk in my walking heels.
Walking heels is like the least LA thing ever. Oh my God. But yeah, the rest is history.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So what about beauty school? Like what brought you to esthetician school?
Sure. So for me, I signed up for esthetician school ever since I graduated from college. I have been taking kind of classes on the side just for fun. So I've taken the most random things. I took a ceramics class, a food science class over at Stanford.
Wait, that's so cool.
It was really cool. We learned all about like, you know, how different foods interact with our body for overall health, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that digital marketing courses, history classes, literally anything. And I was just kind of flipping through through the options on Google for what classes existed in Santa Monica, and I found skincare. And I never thought that I would go to beauty school. This is a type of program where it's not like a full enrollment, you know this, but I was able just to sign up for one class at a time. And I'm like, this is going to be great. I'm just going to take classes. It's really close to where I live. I'll meet people in my area, just like you. And yeah, that's how I enrolled in beauty school. What about you?
Wait, that's so fun. Okay, so if I'm honest, I've been thinking about beauty school for a really long time. And it goes back to like when I was 18. So I was like a freshman at Parsons, and I have an older brother, and he had a girlfriend at the time. And her name, well, I won't share her name, but she was a really cool girl and I really liked her. I remember she worked in marketing, but she had just quit her job, and she told me she had enrolled in esthetician school. And honestly, that was the first time, one, I ever heard that word, and two, ever realized like, oh, you can make a career out of skincare, like touching people's faces and fixing their skin, like mind-blowing as 18-year-old, you know?
I mean, back then also, like, not to give away our age, but back then, the skincare industry today is not what it was back then.
Totally. Yeah, it's evolved like leaps and bounds. But anyway, so brother's girlfriend tells me she's in esthetician school, and like I remember whenever we would hang out, she would always talk to me about like beauty and skincare, and I was so obsessed with it. She was talking about K-beauty at that time, so this is like 2010 when it was sort of just starting. And she told me that like her end goal was, you know, to be an esthetician, learn from the people, and then also like launch her own brand one day. And I thought, wow, that's so cool. You know, unfortunately they broke up. They just weren't right for each other. It's all good. But I did follow her career for the longest time. And then she launched her own brand. And I was like, whoa, that is so cool. She actually went full circle, did the thing, and like is out there following her dream. So yeah, I've always thought about it. Never really thought it was possible for me because I was, you know, doing my own career thing, and like, it's hard, right? It's hard to commit time to a full-time program because most of these are full-time.
Absolutely. And I mean, we both work full-time.
Yes.
And it's tricky, but there's something so great about taking classes or just pursuing something that you love. Like I would not have taken a career in skincare and made that jump over the summer if I hadn't signed up for these classes.
100%,
right?
yeah.
And so there's never going to be the right time, but you just kind of, if you have that itch, you got to scratch
You
it.
just got to do it.
Yeah.
But back on the timing thing, like, sure, there's never going to be a right time, but I do think there's also a bit of like a time and a place thing, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
you moved, you're in a new place, it's not new to you, obviously, but you know, you had just moved and you're looking for that class. So it's like, there's that opening. And then like for me, I moved out here from New York and I'm like, you know what? LA is the capital of the beauty world. Like if there's a time and a place, it's now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, Sasa, we've introduced ourselves, and now let's kick off like the meat of this first episode and what we want to talk about, which is skincare trends. Let's talk about the best and the worst of 2024.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so the first one on my mind, and it's like not new, but I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Beef tallow.
Oh my God. This is literally the bane of my existence. And I keep getting like targeted ads for it. And I don't know what I did to get this.
Same.
Right? It's so annoying. Okay. So, I mean, I can go like for hours about beef tallow, but I hate it. I hate the trend. It's honestly so dumb. And it's all tied to this thing of like, oh, you should be able to eat your skincare, which is like the dumbest advice I have ever heard in the history of like life.
It is so crazy. I like when I saw the same video of the girl saying you should be able to eat your skincare. And I just immediately thought to myself, there's so many things that you put in your mouth that you should not be putting on your face. Are you going to go put pasta sauce all over your body? Rub pesto into your skin? That's disgusting. And also, are you admitting that you don't wash your face or your body with soap? Literally, there are chemicals in soap that if you ingest them, you are going to poop your pants. Like flat out, it does not agree with your agent. So like, that's just BS. It's just BS. But do you know how beef tallow is actually made?
I've learned a little bit, but tell me more.
It's disgusting. I mean, it all starts with a good old trip to the butcher shop where you're just going to buy a hunk of beef and then you cut the fat off of it. And the first thing that you do is you put it in a pot of boiling water and you just let it boil. And so while that happens, technically it's getting clean, but all that means it's just releasing the dirt, the blood vessels, the kind of like gross bacteria, hair in that chunk of meat. And you boil it down, let it cool, you scrape off the top, and then with that scraping, you repeat that process of boiling the beef fat over and over and over again until it kind of shrinks down into a block of basically beef fat. I mean, people use it to cook. It's like clarified butter almost.
Exactly. Exactly. I was just going to say, it's just like ghee. And on that same note, like, do people not realize that putting oil or fat on your face is literally like putting on tanning oil? Like, you're quite literally inducing a burn. So it doesn't actually have any efficacy in terms of like protecting your skin from the UV rays.
I know. And the fact that they claim that it's like a natural sunscreen is absolutely wild to me. But I remember when I was in high school and when girls wanted a good tan, they would literally put coconut oil on their bodies.
God. First of all, that's so comedogenic. It's like really, really clogging for your skin. So if you have sensitive skin or just like even normal skin, it's bad, first off. And then two, again, you're cooking. Like, it's so crazy to me.
Right? But I mean, people were doing the worst things back then. Not only like using the oil, but actually tanning. Oh my God. The trauma.
It is really, really bad. I mean, I was looking at a picture of myself, like, probably from 2008, and I was like, oh, shit, I was so tan. Like, I was cooking. People were just laying out with like spread eagle, looking for sunshine, no protection.
I mean, the hallmark of like a cool girl back then, bikini lines.
No, I know. I remembered
and
that.
The stickers. Do you remember the stickers?
I did that. Oh my gosh. One of my girlfriends, I remember she did this weird thing where she would take nail polish, which is also just terrible, but like paint like a star on like her low hip area and then tan so that when she got like sunburnt, basically, she would remove the nail polish off of her and then have like a tan line of a star.
Classy.
I know.
Gosh, okay, so beef tallow out.
So out. I'm over it.
I mean, for us, it was never in, but we just had to set the record straight, right?
100%.
Okay, next trend. So I know that one was skincare, but this one's all makeup, but blush blindness.
Ooh, blush blindness. Yes. Okay. So like, I feel like the OG like icon of like blush looks is definitely Sabrina Carpenter. I feel like she's everywhere right now, right?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan. I love the look. I know it's a lot. Like literally her entire face, like ear to ear is bright pink, but I think it's kind of youthful. It's kind of fun. And I mean, you remember back in the day, blush was not a thing.
Yeah, first of all, blush was like an old lady look.
Yes.
Like literally it was like auntie with like the really intense like magenta blush on the apples of her cheeks. Like not cute.
And it looked dry and the colors weren't good. And also, I don't know if you know this, but liquid and cream blush, not a thing back then.
That's so true.
Yeah. And also, I don't know, with blush blindness, I think it looks cute, but also if you're a beauty founder, you want blush blindness to be a thing. Because they're using more blush.
100%. Yeah. It's like you're applying so much now. Like I've seen the videos of the girls. Like you've done this before too, where you're like, you do the big donut circle.
Yes.
I'm like, damn, that's a lot more blush than I normally use.
Well, you know, I think Selena Gomez must be loving it because she was always known for her liquid blushes. You use the tiniest spot. Totally. And therefore the tube of blush that you buy is going to last you years at that rate.
I know.
And now girls are like piling it on.
And layering it too.
Different
two different colors.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I think is cute. I mean, like I definitely do a little bit of blush and I've like started to gravitate towards like, you know, when people put blush a little closer to their nose because it looks like kind of like cute and youthful. It's growing on me.
I think this one will stick around a little more. Like it's not as egregious as like 2016 makeup.
Yeah, that's true. Where it's full glam all the time. Yeah, it's like a youthful, natural look. So I think that's what's in. I mean, it's been in for a while.
It's been in for a while, and I think it does look youthful and more natural. Like nobody had Sharpie brows in like real life, but for some reason in 2016, that was the main thing everybody wanted.
Oh, I remember.
I was so guilty.
Yeah.
I'll insert a pic.
Okay, perfect.
It was so bad.
Wait, what were you using? Was it like a gel pomade or was it like a liner pen or like what did you do?
I was using the Anastasia Dip Brow.
Okay, Yeah. OG.
OG. And the funny thing is that I still use it to date.
Yeah.
But in a different color, first and foremost.
What did you use before and what do you use now?
So for some reason, I thought that because my hair is black, I should be using black. But absolutely not. Like my eyebrows are quite thin. So I actually use taupe, which is like what blonde people use. But for me, it just gives me like, it has a nice gray undertone in general. So it looks a bit more natural than the thick, chalky, literally black Sharpie brows.
Totally.
You're going to laugh so hard when you see this photo.
No, I actually probably have a photo too of me with insane looking brows. So I used to use, it was like the Makeup Forever, like brow, God, I don't even know if it was meant to be used on brows, but it was this like little applicator that it felt kind of like a cream gel thing. And it was literally black, like black is black. And I would just, I mean, the funny thing is like, I actually have really full brows, but I was like, no, I want them to look like a cartoon character.
I mean, Cara Delevingne, Kim Kardashian, like they had those, like, that was the look.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have gorgeous thick brows.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you, girl.
Let's do the next one. Okay, fake freckles.
Okay, I know you have to kick this one off, Sasa, because you have freckles.
I have so many freckles.
Give me your hot take.
Oh my gosh. You know what's funny is that like I have a very love-hate relationship with my freckles. Now I love them. And like growing up, it was a double-edged sword. I felt like my American friends were like, oh my God, you're so cute. I love your freckles. Oh, I wish I had freckles. And I was like, oh, thanks. And then I would go home and like my grandma was the worst one. I love my grandma and she's the best, like always. But this is a very East Asian grandma thing. She'd be like, oh, Sasa, you're so pretty, but those freckles, do you wanna wash them off? She would say that in that way. Do you want to wash them off? Because hyperpigmentation is not considered like pretty in East Asian culture, right?
Like pigmentation in general.
You want to be Snow White. So given that relationship I have with my freckles, even though I love them, like they're hard to manage too, because like I have to really be careful in the sun and with heat. So I think it's hilarious that people are intentionally putting them on their face. Like, what do you think?
I mean, okay, I have a theory about freckles and I think I'm right, but let's just get into it. Okay, so when people have their freckles showing, it means that they're not wearing makeup or very little makeup, right? And so it shows that when you kind of do a full beat and do the concealer, all the different layers, etc., you have the perfect base, and then you go in and apply freckles. It kind of gives people the illusion that they're not wearing makeup and that their skin underneath is naturally that beautiful and contoured and highlighted, and so you can still see the freckles on top.
This is everything. I actually think you hit like the nail on the head or whatever that saying is, because this just resonates, right?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It's like the no makeup girly. Like everyone wants to be like, oh, like this is just what I look like when I wake up. And like, I don't use that much makeup ever. This resonates.
Exactly, because you can still use the concealer and just kind of clear out, blank out everything. But when you add the freckles back, it kind of makes the skin look more natural again all of a sudden.
Totally. Yeah.
But it looks cute.
It does. It looks cute on, I think some people can pull it off and it looks good. I also just, what I find funny is like, unless you're doing the faux freckles like in the same placement every time, like every photo you take, your freckles are going to be different.
I mean, people are going wild with this trend. I literally saw Taylor Swift wearing glitter freckles.
Oh, that's a thing. I also am getting ads for glitter freckles. And I don't know how I feel about it though, because it's like, if you look up really close and you can see, it's like, oh, it's a cute little gold star. Like that's cute. But from far away, it kind of looks like it's like a skin deformity.
A little bit.
Right?
Because it's kind of green in the light.
Yeah.
Reflective.
Yeah. I don't know.
So faux freckles, yes. Glitter freckles, no.
I'm not into it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'm into it. Although I have seen a lot of people wear them to like concerts and stuff. Like I feel like the Sabrina Carpenter and like Taylor Swift concerts, people do that to look like cute and glam. But yeah, again, I think it's like up close pictures. It's cute. From a distance, it just doesn't work for me.
I mean, it pulls green or blue or purple, whatever color the glitter is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so this last one, I wouldn't call it a trend per se, but I feel like it really took over in 2024, and it was the Youthforia scandal.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Wow, this was such a disappointment in my opinion, especially because the owner and founder, I don't know if she's the owner, but definitely the founder of the company is East Asian, like we are. But I mean, what a way to drop a ball, right? So should I give a little background?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, great. So basically, Youthforia was this company, and they were really well known for creating makeup that is healthy enough to sleep in. What a great idea, right?
Totally.
And they launched a foundation range, and there's a lot of pushback when it came out because the shades were not dark enough for all skin types, even though they say it's for everybody. So a lot of the influencers, especially ones from the Black community, went out and critiqued it and said, we love your line, but this just doesn't suit me. And as like the company's feedback, for some weird reason, I still don't understand it, but they relaunched the foundation shades and they put the darkest shade. And if you look at it up close, it's literally completely black. They had cosmetic chemists look into it, and there is no colored pigment in this foundation whatsoever other than black and a tiny, tiny bit of white.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, talk about melanin for a second, but like, you know, explain to them like why even the darkest of dark skin is not black.
Totally. So melanin, there's different shades. Like, for example, for East Asians, there's always tends to be like a little bit more of a yellow undertone. There's yellow melanin. There's redness tones and pink tones. You tend to see that more in Caucasian and European type skins. And then even if you do have black or brown skin, it is not just one shade of black like this. It is not the pure shade of black. Like there's mix and flecks of red, yellow, blue, green. Like it's not a flat dimensional color.
No, and even if you do have a darker skin tone, like you can still be like more warm toned or olive toned or cool toned even, right? Or even red undertones. Like there's still such a wide range there. But the fact that they came out with like 100% black is just such a slap in the face.
It's just so crazy because like I just think about it like in terms of color theory, like you just said, there's literally warm and cool tones. Like at the very minimum, they should have done a warm, quote unquote, black and a cool tone, dark shade.
I mean, even if they just threw a tiny bit of red pigment in there, the
100%.
absolute bare minimum,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
Like literally zero effort was put into it. But it was really this influencer called Gloria who made this super viral video of her applying black face paint and the Youthforia paint side by side. And there was really no difference. But I just loved how not only how this video gained so much virality, but she's talking about an experience that so many people of color have when it comes to foundation shopping.
Yes. I think about like us in like high school, right? Like, I don't know about you, but we would go to like a CVS or something because that's all we could afford. And then you would like look at like the foundation ranges and everything is pink toned because they were making stuff for consumers that were predominantly Caucasian. Like nothing would really work on my skin unless I wanted to look like a kind of freak, you know?
Right. Or like everything was like really pink or maybe looked really orange. So like, and also like the only shade, it was like light, medium, and tan.
Yes.
So like, and we're complaining, even though we are in like the kind of fair skin, light skin majority of not having the right undertones for us. So watching her really just give a voice to such a large part of the beauty community was just great. And, you know, I think a lot of founders were able to learn a lot from her and do the right thing.
100%. Like Patrick Ta, I think he did such a good job. And like he flew her in, right, Gloria? He flew her in, he consulted her. He wanted to talk and like learn about her experience and understand like what was going wrong. He did a whole makeup look for her and they like went through the product range and he took serious feedback from her so that they can go back and redo their, it was like their serum foundation, right?
Yeah, and he crushed it. They did so well. And like, I mean, she looked gorgeous. She looked absolutely amazing. And like the fact that a founder or, you know, a business owner, whatever, someone in a position of power, not only reaches out to somebody, but invites them in. Because he could have just done it over email. He could have
100%.
done it over a phone call, but he built a personal relationship with her and really showed her that he does care. And not just about her, but everybody, you know, that's experiencing issues like her. And I think that is what people expect nowadays. They want to be like, it's not just a buyer, it's not just a consumer, it's being a part of a community.
100%. And kind of on that same vein, I feel like maybe this is kind of a trend, like the sort of influencer as both like a critic and also a community member for these beauty brands. Like it's not just a one-way conversation anymore, it's a dialogue. And that's how it's going to be.
100%. And I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because beforehand, like, you know, like we would just like beg for the products that we wanted and maybe we'd get it, maybe we wouldn't. But when we have these people who are authentic and engaging and inspiring, you know, speaking up, and also like they're listening to their community. An influencer doesn't influence by themselves. But no, Gloria totally crushed it. And, you know, I think that when it comes to more brands getting called out, I'm kind of here for it.
I'm totally here for it. And also, sidebar, like Gloria has the funniest videos. Every time she does a call out, I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this. Like, what is happening? Spill the tea. Tell me everything.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right. So that was the end of our very first episode. We are so excited to be going on this journey together with this podcast, sharing with you guys everything and anything related to beauty and also just life in general. But we'll be back next Wednesday.
Yes. And thanks again so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave us some love in the reviews, and be sure to share this with somebody who needs a glow up.
And if you guys want to follow us on socials, we are at GlowJob Podcast. You can also follow Sasa at Sasa No Skin and me at SkinSift.
And also, don't forget to DM us on Instagram with all your burning questions. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.